Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, great for recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Boy, it feels like I've said that about 500 times. Just almost, not quite. Guys, happy Tuesday. Guys, what an awesome day. Today was my good friend's birthday. She turned 50 today. She also was the guest speaker at the Tuesday speaker meeting. So in preparation for that, I basically didn't schedule any work today because I know when my day gets going, emergencies come up, shit happens, and oftentimes I'm not able to leave. And you know, first of all, I got to put my recovery first. I made a commitment to be there. So I didn't schedule. I was going to go do one small job this morning, and the customer didn't answer the door. I rescheduled that for Friday, later in the day. I went and did some stuff that I could do that wouldn't that I knew couldn't tie me up, and I could walk away from if necessary, keep me busy. Then I went to the gym, had an absolutely fantastic workout. Went to the meeting. Yeah, guys, it was amazing to see all of us OGs, us original group members, or I shouldn't say original. This group's been long before me, but I've been invited into the inner circle. I'm part of the service committee. To see a lot of the foundational members all show up for our friend Marlene, and then the house just packed house today. She delivered a powerhouse share, and then about 10 of us went out to lunch afterwards, and my God, what a good time. I mean, I haven't laughed that much or that loud, guys. We had a table of 10 in this restaurant, and there were times we were concerned we were going to get thrown out, and every one of us is dead sober, living in sobriety, living in recovery. And we were just having such a good time. Further than that, one of my favorite people, Mardine, showed up. If you happen to catch the video on, he was so happy to see you today. She is celebrating an engagement. Her and her man Arthur just got engaged, and that's like so happy for them. Guys, day of celebration. These are the gifts of recovery. Yeah, I mean, seriously, we ended up going to lunch at 1 o'clock, and we're there till almost 4. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. We had such a good time. Just life is blessed today, guys. It's great to be a part of something. It's great to be a valued member of an inner circle. And these are things that don't happen overnight. And when you walk into your meeting that first time, you know, so nervous and shaky, if you don't continue coming back, you're robbing yourself of the possibility of some of the best relationships, best friendships, your new family. Literally, every one of us to a T said at some point today, "This is my family. This is my family." Like you know, I have love for everybody in that room, whether they're coming in. We had people introduce themselves as brand new, and you know, people celebrating huge milestones, and it was amazing today, guys. Just the power in the group, the love in recovery, the love, the fellowship. It was such a strong day of fellowship that I'm absolutely blown away by it. Today, in and of itself, was a spiritual experience, and I've seen it in other people. You know, from my buddy Andy, who's just got 5 months, and again, boom, he's very quickly became one of our inner circle members. He's on the service committee as well, going through some you know, tough medical stuff, but again, doing so with grace and just seeing the progression. Like, I remember when he walked in 5 months ago, and to see where he's at today, I'm so proud of him. Like, guys, you know, give yourself a shot, give recovery a shot. The life I live today in recovery is actually, it was something we talked about today. 16 months, I can honestly say I have not had a bad day in 16 straight months. Like, I could never say that any other time in my life. It doesn't mean I haven't I've dealt with deaths, I've dealt with, you know, everything people deal with, but it doesn't have to be it. Because of my relationship with my higher power, because of my recovery, because of everything I'm doing, I have not had a bad day. Because it's the relativity equation. Like, I compare my days today to what I'm used to for 40 years. For 40 years, I dealt with a nightmare. Today, I get to thrive. Like, it's shocking. It's literally a miracle what has happened in my life. The same can happen for you if you work a recovery program. Today, we're going to talk about living with spiritual experiences, guys. It's the Just for Today Any meditation. So let's do it. For meditation to be of value, the results must show in our daily lives. In working our program, we are given many indirect indications of a higher power's presence in our lives. The clean feeling that comes to so many of us who are taking the fifth step, the sense that we are finally on the right track when we make amends. the satisfaction we get from helping another addict. Meditation, however, occasionally brings us extraordinary indications of God's presence in our lives. These experiences do not mean we have become perfect or that we are cured. They are taste given us of the source of our recovery itself, God, reminding us of the true nature of the things that we pursue in recovery and encouraging us to continue walking our spiritual path. Such experiences demonstrate in no uncertain terms that we have absolutely tapped a power far greater than our own. But how do we incorporate that extraordinary power into our ordinary lives? Our fellows, our sponsor, and others in our community may be more seasoned in spiritual matters than we are. If we ask, they can help us fit our spiritual experiences into the natural pattern of recovery and spiritual growth. And then the affirmation is just for today. I will seek whatever answers I need to understand my spiritual experience and incorporate them into my daily life. And guys, for me, I don't need to ask anybody else because, again, my higher power, I understand that every day of my life is a miracle. I understand that my conscious contact relationship with my higher power is a miracle. I say these things because I've seen the miracles manifest the minute I started paying attention, the minute I turned my will over and not said, oh yeah, I will turn my will. No, in prayer, I get down on my knees and I talk to God. At the lowest point of my life, I'm, God, please, I'm inviting you into my life. Please let me walk in your light. Please guide me. And then immediately, boom, all these things started just bombarding me. And if I tried to ignore them, they got louder and louder because I kept asking. And God is very patient that way. My loving God is. I was begging and crying for help every night and then getting up the next morning and doing drugs. So all of a sudden I'm getting messages. I'd turn on YouTube. I'd see it on the city bus. It was everywhere I looked. Shed the drugs, shed the drugs, shed the drugs. I'll remove the negativity from your heart. Finally, I broke down and I got off the drugs, got into rehab. And boom, all my focus was just on that. But I started studying, I started working, I started reading a book on scientific prayer because I knew my spirituality was my savior. That's what got me there. God had got me because I had asked for help. He finally got me to where I needed to be. So I was diving in. And all of a sudden, 3.5 weeks go by, and I'm just, talking to a couple of you guys. I kind of weeded out instead of sitting in the back of the room and bullshitting with the prison tough guys like I always would. I was sitting up front, and literally, guys, I was getting choked up every time I talked. It was so, it was a test of faith in and of itself. Are you willing to sound like you're going to cry in front of 40 men in a, that are trying to make it a prison-like atmosphere and show emotion because God was giving me my feeling back, and they weren't comfortable, but it was necessary. And it was also a miracle. It was a spiritual experience in and of itself. So I said, yes, I will. I have to participate. This is important. Everything I'm doing is important, saving my life. So I don't care about these men I'll probably never see again. If I sound like I'm going to cry and they laugh and joke in the bathroom, let them. And all of a sudden, the guys that were also really trying come up to me and they're like, hey, man, come sit and have lunch with us. We want to talk to you. It's so impressive. Every time you open your mouth, you're so positive. It's shocking like this. You just spew positivity and it inspires me. And I'm like, I spew positivity. Like, oh, shit, God removed all the negativity from my heart, just like he promised me he would. That was one of my first spiritual awakenings, and it was mind-boggling, right? Boom, got bought in. Again, at that point, I started to incorporate meditation in, and it was tough in the beginning because my mind was still really addled. You think I'm kidding? My friend Andy and I at lunch today were talking about watching one of my first videos, and he's like, yeah, you weren't exactly making a lot of sense. And I look like I was 75. That's another spiritual awakening in and of itself. But anyway, I was doing the best I could, and I'm proud of the work I did in those videos because I was scared. I was terrified. I thought I was a fraud. I thought I had imposter syndrome. I thought I had no value to add. I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it anyway. I did it scared because that's what I was asked to do. That's what my program told me. Yeah, it's okay to feel fear. Get up and do it anyway. Every time I would pray and I would meditate, and for me in those early days, I would ask my questions and pray, and still do to a point, but it's grown bigger. But it was very simple in the beginning. I would get down on my knees and I would ask my questions in my prayers. And then I would meditate and I would receive my answers. Not like somebody writing me out and Moses with the tablets. But I would get up and I would quiet my mind after meditation. I would contemplate my next steps. And all of a sudden, I'm coming up with answers that were different than everything I'd ever done. So I'm like, well, clearly these aren't my, this is not my predisposition. This is not my my inclination or my instinct, I should say. It's what I'm looking for. It was something new. So I'm going to follow this because I'm asking God for help, and I'm meditating for answers, and I'm getting something subconsciously. So I started following them, and they led me to big and beautiful things. All of a sudden, I'm in situations and in conversations in the depths of right where I needed to be to find an answer that I didn't even know I was looking for. I mean, I knew I was, but I wasn't picking up a book or picking up my phone and Googling, tell me this answer. It was something I was concerned with, and as soon as I would acknowledge it, or sometimes even before I did, boom, I'm in that situation. I'm there. Boom, that's it. I'm like, this is real. I'm seeing the miracles manifest in my life. Then I get home, and everything was a spiritual experience. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to this. Well, all right. First of all, I come home that night, and I'm home. I'm alone. I'm isolated. I'm contemplating. And I'm going to be honest, I got home and this urge, I went and got on Sublocade because I knew I didn't want to go back to my drug of choice, heroin and fentanyl. But I had also been smoking a lot of crack and at the end, and my brain's telling me, here I am talking about, oh, I'm going to be clean and this and that. And I'm like, well, maybe if I do a month and prove I'm off heroin, I could smoke crack one weekend. So sure enough, I'm cleaning my apartment because it's just paraphernalia and drug baggies and a shithole. And I find a pipe and a rock, and boom, before I even realized what I did, I'd smoked it, and my heart broke. I was so deflated. I felt like such a failure. But again, my normal instinct, well, okay, I've already screwed up. I might as well get high, and I can try again tomorrow. No, I didn't. I dropped to my knees, and I prayed, my God, I need help. Like, I want this, and I know you're here in my life, and you've gotten me here, but boom, the minute I'm alone, like, I don't have the strength. Please give me strength. And as soon as I was finished that prayer, I just, boom, it hit me, this intuition. Get out of the apartment, go for a walk. It was January. It was 9 o'clock at night. It was like 6 degrees outside. I had nowhere to go. But I did. I walked outside. I ended up across the street. And I'm like, well, I'll go get a pack of cigarettes and just smoke a cigarette, even though I quit. But I just needed something. And I walk into the store, and I had my headphones in. And there's this girl talking to the clerk behind the counter. So finally, I'm like, this is taking too long. I take my headphones out, and I realize she's having issues. They're trying to find an address. And I'm like, oh, I have a phone. Let me pull up a map and just describe to me what you know, and we'll find it. And I found the street name she was looking for, and I gave her directions. And I'm like, something. And so as we walk out of the store, she asked me for a cigarette. I give her a cigarette, and I realize she's walking. And I'm like, that's like 2 miles. It's fucking 9 o'clock at night and freezing out. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you want to ride? I got a truck across the street. She's like, oh my God, that'd be great. So we walked across the street and we chatted a little bit. And I'm like, listen, I have my headphones in. I missed the beginning of this. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you trying to do here? And I wasn't trying to pry. I was trying to help. And she saw that. So she explained to me that she had locked her keys in her car up the road, and she had a client that lived on the other side of town that she was hoping might have AAA and could maybe help her get in her car. She had no phone. Everything was in her car. I'm like, well, here, first of all, take my phone. If you want to call your family, let them know you're safe. I know you're with a strange person in a truck. I want you to feel comfortable. I said, I may have AAA. I looked it up, and sure enough, it expired while I was in rehab. And I go, but I'm also a mechanic by trade. I could probably break into your car for you without doing any damage. And she's like, oh, my God, it's a Subaru with frameless windows. It'd be pretty easy. And I said, oh, shit, no problem. I went down to the warehouse, and I made a special tool because I've done a lot of automotive unlocking. I made the tool that I thought I would need, brought some wooden shims, drove to her car, and inside of 5 seconds, I got her inside of her car. And the whole time, she's like, who are you? Who does this for people? And I'm like, honestly, I'm a recovering addict. Just got out of rehab, and I already had a slip. And I'm feeling really shitty about myself, and helping you is helping me feel better about myself. And I was just honest. When she got into her brother had an issue with cocaine and this and that, we had a good talk, and boom, got her into her car, sent her on a merry way. And I came home, and I'm like, that was a spiritual experience right there. Sitting at home, isolated, worrying about myself, contemplating what I can and can't get away with, bad shit happens. Going out in the world, blind faith, I find somebody to be of service, and suddenly I feel good about myself. And I don't want to use drugs again. So I thought about it some more, and I'm like, I need to dive in. Like, I promised myself I would chase recovery as hard as I chase the drugs. I need to find a home group. I need to find a meeting. I need to find a recovery community. I need to find fellowship. I need to find people to fill my life with that are sober. So boom, I go to bed feeling better. I wake up the next morning and I pick up the phone to call and find a meeting. I step outside my door and my neighbor comes walking by, and I know full well he's in the program. Shit, Brian, perfect timing. Hey, I just got out of rehab. I finally put myself in. He knew I was a mess. He would often drop hints that he was in recovery and, it was available. Brought me to my meeting that I'm now a chair of, and it's just been, one beautiful spiritual experience after the other since, guys. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. But I think I kind of glossed over my point again. My point is, I learned how to incorporate them very easily. Do the next right thing because it's the right thing to do. Be of service to others. Listen. See how things apply. Work recovery in my life, and then go out and take action. When I learn something, when I notice one of my character defects, I ask God to remove it, and then the next day I go out and I act like God removed it. So in other words, when that situation comes up, I pay very close attention to it, and I act differently. I do the right thing, particularly when it's hard, particularly when nobody's watching, because that's when I change the habit, when it's just me. When it's just me and God, I do the right thing, because that's how habits are formed. Because then, when somebody else is watching and you feel like you're under pressure, and there's peer pressure and this, you're expected, you've already primed yourself and you know what you want to do. When you develop, I told you guys, I've said this so many times, the two most important relationships you will ever have in your life are the relationship with yourself and the relationship with your higher power. Work on those two. Worry about those two, especially, first of all, always, but particularly in early recovery. And that's what I did, and that relieved so much stress off me. Because I wasn't worrying about what Tom, Dick, or Harry thought. I wasn't trying to keep up with the Joneses. No, I was getting up and just looking at the totality of my life, looking at the opportunities I had, doing the best I could with what was in my hand, understanding God was giving me just what I needed and just what I could handle on that day, not overwhelming me and not leaving me full of sorrow. And I started taking better, baby steps, just taking better actions. Being a man of my word was a huge one because nobody ever knew if I was going to show up. So I didn't make commitments I wasn't going to honor, and I honored every commitment I made. Boom. Suddenly I started to get a little bit of self-respect. Starting to think I can keep my word. I'm not a degenerate liar. Truth can find its way through my mouth. Started not stopping lying to myself, which meant inventory, journaling, guys. Wrote down. I used to tell these stories. Oh, my shop got broken into. All my tools got stolen. This, that, the other. It's not how it happened. It's not how it happened. Yes, tools got stolen. Shop got broken into. I was well aware of it, but I had a warrant. I couldn't do nothing about it, and I was too worried about getting high. Like, that's the reality of it. So then when I started sharing at meetings, it was no longer this victim mentality, right? Didn't even see this happen. But over the course of time, 3-4 months in, suddenly I'm not walking around feeling like a victim. Suddenly I've got some control over my situation, my actions, my consequences, accepting my accountability for my part in those things, because that's what I can change. I can't change what happened, but I can change how I act, and I can't do so if I'm blaming everything outside of myself. Boom, that was a major spiritual awakening. That was a spiritual experience that I've continued to walk with every day. And because I found who I really am. Once I found who I really, and again, you got to do these things in steps. I can't find the new community that's meant for me if I don't know who I am and I don't know where I belong. So I did it one day at a time, and I didn't rush the process, and I didn't try to fill the void with unnecessary noise. I learned to sit in the stillness and figure things out. Talk to God, pray, meditate, take good actions, one step at a time. Don't rush it. Be patient. It takes time to build a life, but if you do it the way the program's laid out and to the best of your ability, it'll happen a lot faster than you think it will. And before long, you're just going to get into the flow. Remember, I realized about 6 months in, I'm like, holy shit, I'm in a flow state. Things are just chugging along and going beautiful. And it's funny because now here I am 16 months in, and I'm like, that was nothing. I wasn't even warmed up yet. You know what? I know 16 months from now, I'm going to be in a whole nother chapter. And it's going to be even bigger and better than it is now, because I continue to do the work every day. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me. That's the video for today. Thank you for being here with me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.